let me talk at a little length about philosophical pantheism. As a matter of fact, pantheism or philosophical pantheism is almost as old as philosophy itself. It has a very long history. The underlying idea is that the world is the self-reflection of the supreme being that is God. Everything that exists has diversity insofar as its general complexion is concerned. However, in its quantier sense, every particle that appears to our eyes, you know, constitutes an all-inclusive unity, rather divine unity. Gadai's verses visibly partake of, this position or this trend that reality in its essence is essentially singular. Likewise, Abdul Karim Gadai believes that God and world are not ontologically mutually exclusive. Rather, everything emanates from the single being, the single supreme being. A mystical, a strange mystical aroma seems to be informing Abdul Karim Gadai's works. Gadai Sahab seems to be strongly swayed by the tradition of pantheism or Wahdatul Wajud, as we may call it, Accordingly, the poet says, ॿियाईअ खे ॿन विझी तूं वहदत जी वाट वठिजांइ. Dispensing with trivial dualism, walk on the path of unity or oneness. According to Gadai Sahab, all the profane love may ultimately mature into the divine or eternal love for the noblest of the beloveds, that is God. Abdul Karim Gadai holds a very complex notion of spiritual love. Why it is complex? Basically, it is two-faceted or two-dimensional. Gadai assigns his earthly beloved the status of a deity. She is likened to a goddess of beauty. Her profound eyes are comparable to the heavenly rivers. Her musky tresses wear a look of a breathtaking dark night of paradise. Her ample bosoms have surreal beauty of the dream world. Hence, in her, it is in, his beloved that Abdul Karim Gadai sees the glimpses of God. Exactly as the pantheists believe. Likewise, subscribing to a pantheistic view of the world, Gadai believes his love for the beloved flowers ultimately into the love for God. As he says, Milayo khak mein muh paana ke dildar ji khatir. I got into self-renunciation for the sake of my beloved. So the underlying idea seems to be that in order to be one with the beloved, in order to achieve union with the beloved, the lover must, dispense with his ego. The merger with the beloved can be achieved only by the unqualified self-surrender and total self-abnegation. The poet further says that the sight of the beloved is summam bonam, as he says, Dilbar jo darshan and Sahaba. It is a virtue to look at the face of the beloved. Accordingly, like a polytheist, he erects his idol in the person of his beloved. Now listen to these two lines. Namaz chaji kithan jo rozo, ahan ji surat mein ser saro. निमाज़ छाजी किथां जो रोज़ो अव्हां जी सूरत में सिर सारो चुमिया तो हर हर अव्हां जे रुख खे सनम ख़ुदा जो किताब समझी. And he further says, पंहिंजो अक़ीदो आहे सुहिणा गदाई दरवाज़ो दिलबर तुंहिंजो मिंबर मेहराबा.